The sound isn't what you expect. In the movies, artillery whistles. In Herkin Forest, it screams.
A tearing metal-on-metal shriek that ends in concussion, strong enough to liquefy your organs before shrapnel touches you.
Corporal James Hayes, 22-year-old combat medic from Wisconsin, is face down in freezing mud. He is counting seconds between impacts.
He lifts his head. Through smoke, he hears something that doesn't belong in war. A woman screaming.
Hayes scrambles forward, Red Cross armband caked in gray filth, and peers over the rim of abandoned Foxhole. What stops his heart?
A woman! A civilian! German!
Right now, in middle of bloodiest battle of European theater, under active artillery fire, Hayes freezes.
His unit is retreating to ridge 300 yards back. If he stays, sitting duck. If he jumps in, aiding the enemy. He has 90 seconds before next barrage walks to this exact coordinate. 90 seconds to make choice. Run or stay.
He didn't know it then, but that split-second hesitation was 60 years.
This is story of Foxhole birth. This is story of how American soldier and German mother defeated war.
To understand insanity of what happened next, you have to understand where they were. Battle of Herkin Forest wasn't just battle. Crime scene. Historians call it the meat grinder. 50 square miles of dense, dark pines. Trees so thick sun rarely touched forest floor. When artillery shells hit treetops, they exploded downward, raining millions of razor-sharp wood splinters onto men below.
Rosa Becker shouldn't have been there. Nobody should have been there. 8 days earlier, she had been hiding in the farmhouse cellar.
She was 23 years old, 8 months pregnant, entirely alone. The Wehrmacht knocked on her door November.
She was 23 years old, 8 months pregnant, entirely alone. The Wehrmacht knocked on her door November.
He delivered news with all emotion of weather report, turned on his heel, left her widow in war zone. Rosa tried to run.
She packed single suitcase with her mother's preserves and baby clothes she had knitted by candlelight. She walked 12 miles west.
Pinned to telephone pole in bombed-out village was piece of Nazi propaganda. It depicted American soldiers not as men, but as apes.
Rosa was simple woman from rural village. She had no way to know truth. She looked at poster, felt baby kick, turned back.
She retreated into forest, terrified that monsters would find her. She survived on melted snow and terror for a week. Then water broke. It happened fast, too fast. First contraction dropped her to knees in snow. She crawled toward nearest cover.
Jagged hole in earth left by previous mortar explosion, a foxhole. She rolled and cried, curling into ball as artillery barrage began.
Pain was blinding. It felt like her body tearing itself apart from inside.
But forest swallowed sound. She knew with crystalline clarity she was going to die here. She would bleed out in mud, snow would cover body.
No one would ever know she or her baby had existed. Then face appeared. Green helmet, dirty face, eyes wide.
Corporal James Hayes stared down at her. Hayes had been medic for 6 months. He had treated sucking chest wounds, held pressure on arteries.
He had held pressure on femoral arteries while boys younger screamed for mothers. He had zipped up body bags until hands numb.
But in obstetrics, delivering baby? He had watched training film on it once, back in basic training. She looked at him. She scrambled backward, pressing back against frozen dirt wall, hands flying up to protect face. Nine, bitter!
She saw monster from poster. She saw ape coming to finish her off. Hayes saw terror, saw a woman who looked like his sister.
He saw blood soaking her dress. He looked back toward his lines. Safety of ridge was calling him. Go! Survival screamed. But James Hayes didn't run. He slid down muddy embankment into hole. Rosa flinched, closing eyes, waiting for bullet.
Instead, she felt hand on her shoulder, heavy, firm. She opened eyes. American.
He was pulling medical kit off his webbing. Hey, Hayes said, voice shaking but forced down an octave. Hey, it's okay, I'm helping you.
Rosa didn't speak English, but she spoke universal language of panic. She shook head frantically, pointing at his pistol belt.
Hayes understood.
Slowly, deliberately he unbuckled his belt. He took holstered .45 caliber pistol and tossed it out of Foxhole. It landed in snow.
See, Hayes said, holding up empty hands. No guns, just help.
He reached for her. Another contraction seized the body, arching back.
Okay, Mama, he muttered to himself, heart hammering against ribs like trapped bird. Okay, we're doing this, we're really doing this.
Artillery walked closer. Boom, boom, crack. Dirt rained down on them, ground shuddered. Focus on me, Hayes said, locking eyes.
He pointed to his own eyes, then hers. Look at me, breathe. He mimicked deep breath.
For next 20 minutes, war ceased to exist. Geopolitical conflict between Allied powers and Axis ceased to matter. There were no Nazis, no Americans.
Just two terrified human beings in hole in ground, trying to bring third one into world. I can see head, Hayes said.
He was sweating despite freezing temperature.
He is supposed to kill me, supposed to hate me. Instead, he is holding me together.
He mimicked motion with hand. Come on, push! Rosa bore down. She screamed, channeling.
And baby slipped into James Hayes's waiting hands. Time stopped. Artillery seemed to go silent.
He worked with frantic precision. He slipped cord over baby's head, cleared her mouth with pinky finger. Not for himself, not for victory. Just give me this, just let this one thing be good. He rubbed harder, gave tiny puff of air into baby's nose and mouth. And then a gasp, a choke. It was sound of pure hysteria and relief. He looked up at Rosa, tears streaming down mud-streaked face. Rosa didn't need translation. She reached out, arms trembling, took her daughter. She pressed crying infant against chest, right over heart, covering her with own body heat. She looked at baby, then looked at American. Monster from poster was gone. In his place, boy. With kind eyes wiping tears from cheeks with dirty knuckles. Hayes pulled out his canteen. Water, he said.
To her. Rosa drank. It tasted like metal and chlorine, and it was best wine she had ever tasted.
In English, only words she knew. Thank you. They sat there for another 9 minutes. Shelling was too intense to move.
He used his sterile dressings, precious supplies meant for wounded GIs, to wrap baby.
It was impossible tableau. American soldier and German civilian huddled knee to knee in Foxhole.
Keep softly, pointing to bundle. Rosa looked down at child. She hadn't dared pick name before. It was
Anja, she said. Then she looked at Hayes, pointed to him.
You. Name? James, he said, tapping chest. James Hayes.
Rosa grabbed his hand. Her grip was iron. Anja Jameson, she repeated firmly.
We have to move, Hayes said. He gestured toward American lines. Doctor, warmth, food. He climbed out of Foxhole first, reached down.
Rosa handed him baby. For seconds she hesitated. She was handing child to enemy army. But she looked at Hayes, didn't see army.
She saw James. She handed Anja up. Hayes cradled baby in crook of left arm, extended right hand to pull Rosa out of mud.
Look back at me. Anja James on Jameson. Or in this case James. They walked into American aid station like that, dirty medic carrying newborn supporting German woman. Aid station was chaos, men dying on stretchers.
Surgeons shouting for plasma. Air smelled of ether and rot. When Hayes walked in, room went silent. Captain Morrison, battalion surgeon, looked up from amputation.
Hayes, where hell have you been? And what is that?
She was giving birth in Foxhole, sir.
She needs exam. Baby needs warmth. Are you insane? Sergeant stepped forward, face twisted with anger. We have Americans bleeding out here. You're playing midwife to Kraut.
Room tensed. Hatred was palpable. These men had lost friends today. To them, Rosa wasn't mother. She was enemy. She was reason there in hell.
Hayes didn't back down. He stepped in front of Rosa, shielding her. She's civilian, Sarge, Hayes said, voice hard. And this baby isn't German.
Or American yet. She's just baby. He looked at surgeon. I delivered her. She's my patient. I am treating her.
Captain Morrison stared at Hayes.
Get her blanket, I'll check when I can. For next 3 days, Hayes visited Rosa every chance he got. He brought extra rations, chocolate bars, crackers, canned peaches. He scrounged formula from nearby village. When military police came to transfer Rosa to displaced persons camp, goodbye was awkward. There were no words for what they had shared. Hayes handed her slip of paper. My parents' address, he said. Write to me, let me know she's okay.
Rosa took it. I will, she said. You safe, please. I'll try, Hayes smiled. He watched truck.
He saw exhaustion in Kid's eyes, saw defiance, and he saw a tiny bundle in Rosa's arms.
Then he picked up his rifle, turned back toward Forest, went back to war. 60 years passed, world changed, Berlin Wall went up, came down.
Cold War froze, world then thawed. James Hayes went back to Wisconsin. He married
In Forest. He had 3 sons, coached Little League, grew old. But he never forgot. And wonder, did they make it? Did that little girl grow up? He had received few letters in late 40s, written in broken English. But then life got in way. Addresses changed, letters stopped. Rosa Becker went back to her village.
She rebuilt home from rubble. She told Anya's story every birthday.
She showed Anja photo Hayes had sent in 1946, grainy black and white picture of smiling young American.
Rosa would say, never forget him. In 2004, Rosa Becker passed away.
Hello, Mr. Hayes?
Yes?
My name is Anja Jameson Becker.
Hayes dropped phone.
3 months later at park in Milwaukee, van pulled up. James Hayes stood up from bench leaning heavily on cane. Doors opened, out stepped Anja.
She was beautiful, with gray hair and smile Hayes recognized instantly from her mother.
Then 4 grandchildren, 11 people. They walked across grass toward Old Soldier. Hayes stood.
That nearly knocked wind out of him. That none of these people would exist if he had stayed in his foxhole, if he had run away.
If he had chosen safety over humanity. Anja reached him first and she didn't say word, just wrapped arms around him, buried face and shoulder.
They stood there a long time. German grandmother and American medic crying in middle of park in Wisconsin.
Hayes looked over her shoulder at grandchildren playing on grass. He saw a little boy, maybe 3 years old, chasing butter.
With emotion, Anja smiled, wiping eyes. That is James, she said.
Generations of laughter, Thanksgiving dinners, first steps, first loves, whole universe of human experience.
In 2009, at his funeral, pews were packed. In front row, right next to his widow, sat Anja Jameson Becker and her family.
They had flown from Germany to say goodbye. Anya stood up to speak, placed hand on casket.
But James Hayes taught me that enemy is just word, human is truth.
And because he chose love, I am here, my children are here, my grandchildren are here.
It's found in bloodline of Becker family. It teaches us that even in darkest places on earth,
You can still choose to help. You can still choose to be human. So next time you think world is too...
Remember James Hayes. Remember that single act of compassion doesn't just save life, it creates future.
Let's make sure legacy of James Hayes and Rosa Becker echoes forward for another generation.
In face of war, subscribe to channel. The sound isn't what you expect. In movies, artillery whistles. In Herkin Forest, it screams.
Face down in freezing mud, he is counting seconds between impacts. 7, 8, 9.
Tearing metal on metal shriek that ends in concussion strong enough to liquefy organs before shrapnel touches you. Corporal James Hayes.
That doesn't belong in war. It isn't guttural roar of dying man, isn't snap. It is woman screaming.
Red Cross armband caked in gray filth. Peers over rim of abandoned foxhole. What he sees stops.
Sitting duck. If he jumps in, aiding enemy. He has 90 seconds before next barrage walks to this exact coordinate. 90 seconds to make choice.
The bloodiest battle of European theater. Under active artillery fire, Hayes freezes. His unit is retreating to ridge 300 yards back. If he stays,
It would result in 11 human lives that had no right to exist. This is story of Foxhole birth.
And German mother defeated war. To understand insanity of what happened next, you have to understand where they were. Battle of Herkin Forest wasn't just battle.
Crime scene. Historians call it meat grinder. 50 square miles of dense, dark pines on Belgian-German border. Trees so thick that sun rarely touched.
Forest floor, leaving everything in perpetual gloomy twilight. When artillery shells hit treetops, they exploded downward.
It was a place where veteran soldiers, men who survived D-Day in North Africa, broke down and wept openly. Have been there. 8 days earlier, she had been hiding in a farmhouse cellar. She was 23 years old.
On her door, November 14th. Officer didn't look at her, he looked at clipboard. He told her that her husband Gunter had died at Siegfried Line.
Vaporized by tank shell, he delivered news with all emotion of weather report, turned on heel, left her widow in war zone. Rosa tried to run.
She packed single suitcase with mothers of preserves and baby clothes she had knitted by candlelight.
Hoping rumors were true, that Americans had food, that they had doctors. But then
You know mercy, caption read. They take pleasure in our suffering.
Snow and terror for week. Then water broke. It happened fast, too fast.
The pain! It's too much! Make it stop!
Her body tearing itself apart from inside, while world tore itself apart on outside.
Then face appeared. Green helmet, dirty face, eyes wide with shock. Corporal James Hayes stared.
He had treated sucking chest wounds. He had held pressure on femoral arteries while boys younger screamed for mothers.
Until hands numb. But obstetrics, delivering baby? He had watched training film once. That was it.